Welcome to ComSpark. We are live here in Cambridge, Massachusetts at MIT, attending the Chief Data Officer Quality Symposium, where the world leaders in data have arrived. My name is Matthew DeRemo. I am your guest host today. Joining me is Phanii Pydimarri, Director of Data and Analytics with Sabre Corporation. Phanii, how are you today?
Pretty good. It's been an excellent conference so far.
Great, good to hear. Well, I appreciate you stepping away from that and giving me a little time to ask you some questions.
Honored.
Perfect. So again, got a handful. I'd say let's just kind of jump right into it. Sound
Sure,
good?
absolutely.
Perfect. So since the Chief Data Officer role is new within an organization, what percentage of your job do you feel is spent around educating your leaders about the power, really, that gold currency and revenue driver that data is, versus a percentage of managing, other professionals?
Sure. I mean, irrespective of the title or the role itself, it's always been over 50 to 60% of time trying to just convince people that, hey, you're basically sitting on a gold mine of asset, and you should start treating it as a corporate asset. I mean, they all say that it should be considered in the books as one of the other assets that you have, but there's still a long way where people don't realize the value.
Sure, absolutely. And I mean, you roll it back so long ago, data was, not even that long ago, I should say, data was viewed as just a simple number out of accounting.
Yep.
A characteristic of the marketing team, right?
Right.
And we both know, right? That's obviously changed. So I guess what does data mean to you now here going into the future?
Sure, it definitely has evolved overall from a corporate perspective. People are looking at it, they're giving the respect it deserves, right? But then there's, for me, data basically can change an organization's fortune in today's world. I mean, it has the potential, it has the capacity, if it's rightly used. If you really unearth whatever gold mine that you're actually sitting on, then it can do wonders for you. It can basically show everything in your bottom line. Again, if you're really focusing on it and giving the respect it deserves, it definitely can give you the bump on the bottom line, which everybody would be really keen on looking at.
And I would assume a lot of organizations definitely want to capture that potential and revenue. But I mean, first, what do you feel around an organization having to adopt a cultural change? You're kind of hitting on it there, right? With people realizing what they have in front of them. I guess what's some insights that you might have with respect to how to focus on those problems, specifically around culture?
It's a cultural shift. Again, the way people have been looking at data is just like you had mentioned earlier, it's just a piece of paper. It's a spreadsheet sitting somewhere, and I have it. I don't know if I'm even archiving it or not. But then, from a cultural standpoint, people are starting to realize that it basically can solve problems for me, the day-to-day problems, where 10 people were doing in the past is being solved by one single algorithm, one single solution that basically relies on data. And that needs to happen more. Once people start realizing the value that it can present, the problems that they are facing on a day-to-day basis get solved in a click of a button, then everybody would want to jump on the ship. I've had experiences on the public sector too, and people on the public sector side are also actually seeing the value of it, and they're moving away from their traditional way of Excel spreadsheets, Access databases, and trying to get into the modern way of doing things. So the cultural shift is happening, but whenever we talk culture, it's slow. You're trying to deal with people's mindset and the way they have their own perceptions, they have their own understanding of things. So it's a slow transformation, but from the time I have started my career to where we are, it's definitely changed. It's come a long way.
Well, I greatly appreciate that insight. And I'm curious, final question, what got you into the data world, right? What draws you to it?
I mean, I always believed that data can solve any problem, literally any problem possible. Again, you just need to know how to use it, right? Whether you're trying to solve a problem or you're trying to innovate something, if you have the data, we talk about all these advanced technologies like AI and ML. Without data, you can't do nothing.
Sure.
So it has the power. The modern day world is completely relying on data. We're seeing it's being used in IoT sensors, it's being basically in everyday life. And the smartphone that we hold actually has tons and tons of data that we have. And if we really are able to use the data coming out of that system, it can solve our own, I mean, if forget about organizational, it's on our personal challenges can be solved to a large extent.
I'd absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Well, Phanii, appreciate very much for you taking the time out of the symposium again and answering a few questions with us. Thank you.
Excellent. Pleasure was all mine.
For more information on today's interview, please visit ComSpark.tech.